When it comes to sandpaper, prices vary a lot. The most expensive brand we'll be testing costs 10 times as much as the least expensive brand. So the question is that most expensive brand at least 10 times as good? Well, let's find out. In the first test, we'll see which brand performs the best on wood. Then we'll see which one removes paint the fastest without clogging. We'll compare sanding performance on plastic. We'll see which brand performs the best after sanding metal. At a very affordable $13.97 for 105 pieces or 13 cents each is this Makitoya brand. All the sanding discs we'll be testing are 5-inch as well as 120 grit. According to the manufacturer, the sanding discs are made from high-quality aluminum oxide abrasives and premium resin bond system. The sandpaper is designed for metal as well as non-metal items such as wood, rubber, leather, plastic, stone, glass, and other materials. The Makitoya brand is made in China. Let's first test sandpaper on wood. For the first test, I purchased oak, which has a rating of around 1,300 on the Janka hardness scale. I'll be using a 5-inch sander with 7.5 pounds of weight applied to the top of the sander. The first test will last right at 5 minutes. The oak wood that I'll be using to test the Makitoya sandpaper weighs 742 grams. After quite a bit of experimentation, 7.5 pounds seems like the right amount of pressure, and the Makitoya brand actually seems to be doing fairly well. The Makitoya test piece started off at 742 and now weighs 732 grams, a loss of 10. At a price of $16.96 for 50 pieces, or 34 cents each, is this Dura Gold brand. Made with super-coated aluminum oxide corundum for a sharp cut and a uniform finish. Dura Gold has a maximum resistance to clogging and loading, which increases your productivity and reduces material consumption. We're going to test that. The Dura Gold brand is made in China. The Dura Gold test piece weighs 757 grams. The Dura Gold brand costs 2.5 times more than the Makitoya brand, which removed 10 grams. And 5 minutes is up, and the Dura Gold test piece now weighs 748 grams, a loss of only 9 grams. So the Makitoya brand holds on to the lead. At a price of $17.90 for 50 pieces or 36 cents each is this Diablo brand. The Diablo uses a premium ceramic blend. Diablo uses Clog Shield. High performance coating reduces pitch buildup and clogging. Abrasives made in Switzerland, shaped in USA. The Diablo test piece weighs 756 grams, and the Diablo is only 2 cents per piece more than the Dura Gold. And the Diablo test piece started off at 756 grams, and now weighs 745, a loss of 11 grams. So Diablo takes the lead from Makitoya. At a price of $19.59 for 50 pieces, or 39 cents each, is this Tiger Shark brand. The grain is made of fused zirconia alumina. Heavy-duty German quality latex paper reduces edge tear-out for longer sanding and saves time. The Tiger Shark brand is made in China. The Tiger Shark test piece weighs 750 grams, and the Tiger Shark brand costs 3 times as much as the Makitoya and 3 cents per piece more than the Diablo. The Tiger Shark started out at 750 grams and now weighs 740, a loss of 10 grams. So Diablo holds on to the lead. At a price of $21.96 for 50 pieces or 44 cents each is this Mirka brand. Extra strong aluminum oxide finish. Optimized grain distribution allows the product to perform faster with less clogging. The Mirka brand is made in Finland. The Mirka test piece is starting out at 812 grams. At 44 cents per piece, the Mirka is 5 cents more than the Tiger Shark. The Mirka test piece began at 812 grams and is now down to 802. That's a loss of 10 grams, the same as the Makitoya and the Tiger Shark. At a price of $13.31 for 25 sheets or 53 cents each is this Norton brand. Aluminum oxide abrasive. Discs are surface treated to resist clogging. The Norton brand is made in Canada. The Norton test piece is starting out at 770 grams. At 53 cents per piece, the Norton costs 9 cents more than the Mirka. And the Norton started out at 770 grams and it now weighs 760, a loss of 10 grams. At a price of $2.99 for 5 sheets or 50 cents each is this Bosch brand. The Bosch brand is made in Turkey. The Bosch brand uses an open coat resin bonded aluminum oxide abrasive to provide a long life and fast material removal on wood and other surfaces. The Bosch test piece weighs 768 grams. At a price of 60 cents, the Bosch costs 5 times as much as the Makitoya. So the Bosch started out at 768 grams and it now weighs 758, a loss of 10 grams. At a price of $16.95 for 25 pieces or 65 cents each is this DeWalt brand. Stearate coating reduces gum up. Aluminum oxide grain removes material more efficiently. Resin adhesive resists heat buildup. Chemically treated backing resists tearing. The DeWalt brand is made in Poland. The DeWalt test piece started out at 776 grams. At 65 cents per sanding disc, the DeWalt is almost twice as expensive as the Diablo. And the DeWalt started out at 776 grams and it now weighs 768, which is only a loss of 8 grams, the least amount of wood removed yet. At a price of $33.13 for 50 sheets or 66 cents each is this famous Makita brand. Makita brand is made in Italy. Aluminum oxide abrasive. Avoid clogging, paper fly-offs, shifting, tears and wears with lower quality non-reinforced sandpaper. Easily remove corrosion, rust, scuffing, wood, paint, fiberglass, varnish, fillers, plastic, and other materials. The Makita test piece is starting out at 764 grams. At 66 cents, the Makita is the third most expensive brand. The Makita started out at 764 grams and it now weighs 757, a loss of 7 grams, and moves into last position behind DeWalt. At a price of $42 for 50 sheets or 84 cents each, the second most expensive brand we'll be testing is this 3M Cubitron brand. Made in USA with globally sourced materials. Revolutionary 3M precision-shaped grain technology provides fast cut and long life. Cuts up to 2 times as fast as conventional abrasives. 3M uses a precision-shaped ceramic grain. Lasts up to 4 times as long as conventional abrasives. The 3M Cubitron test piece weighs 759 grams. At 84 cents each, the 3M Cubitron is the second most expensive brand and it costs 18 cents more than the Makita. And the 3M Cubitron test piece started out at 759 grams and it now weighs 747, a loss of 12 grams, and takes the lead from Diablo. The second type of Diablo sandpaper we'll be testing is this SandNet sandpaper, which costs $14.97 for 10 sheets or $1.50 each. It claims to offer 10 times longer life. Along with the 10 sheets of sandpaper, you also receive a backing pad for wood, metal, plastics, and solid surfaces. Premium aluminum oxide grain. The Diablo is made in Switzerland. And the Diablo SandNet test piece is starting out at 747 grams. At $1.50 each, the Diablo SandNet is over 10 times as much as the Makitoya brand and nearly twice as much as the 3M Cubitron. And the test piece started out at 747 grams and it now weighs 735, a loss of 12 grams, the same as the 3M Cubitron. So after 5 minutes, the 3M and the Diablo SandNet have the highest removal rate at 12 grams, Diablo Sandpaper 11, Makitoya, Tiger Shark, Mirka, Norton, and Bosch 10 grams. Let's continue using the same pieces of sandpaper for an additional 5 minutes to see how quickly the performance of the sandpaper drops off. After 5 additional minutes for a total of 10 minutes of use, the 3M removed 12 grams, the same as the first 5 minutes. The Diablo SandNet did nearly as well, dropping from a removal rate of 12 grams to 11. The Diablo Sandpaper dropped from a removal rate of 11 grams to 9. Norton dropped from 10 to 9. Tiger Shark dropped from 10 to 8 grams, and the rest of the brands removed just 7. After an additional 5 minutes for a total of 15 minutes of use, the 3M dropped off slightly from 12 to 11 grams. Very impressive. The SandNet dropped from 11 grams to 10, still very impressive. Tiger Shark remained at 8 grams. Diablo, Mirka, Bosch, DeWalt, and Makita, 7 grams. Dura Gold dropped to 6 grams. Makitoya, the least expensive brand, and Makita, the third most expensive brand, both really struggled at only removing 4 grams. I tested the sandpaper for 2 additional 5-minute rounds for a total of 25 minutes. After 25 minutes, the Cubitron did the best, removing a total of 53 grams. Diablo SandNet did nearly as well at 51 grams. What's more impressive is that both the 3M Cubitron and the Diablo SandNet, even after 25 minutes of use, still have a pretty decent removal rate at 8 and 9 grams respectively. Diablo, Tiger Shark, and Norton finished in a 3-way tie at 40 grams. Bosch removed 35 grams, Mirka and DeWalt 32 grams, Dura Gold 29, Makitoya 26, and Makita 25. Let's use a new piece of sandpaper and compare the ability of the sandpaper to sand softer material and avoid becoming clogged. I painted a 4x8 sheet of particle board with 3 coats of latex paint about a month ago, and the paint is fully cured. I also added a permanent marker oval so we could check out the removal rate. Each test piece is 12 by 12 inches. The Makitoya test piece started out at 1,024 grams. At nearly a minute into the test, the marker stain is gone. And 5 minutes is up. There's a small amount of paint stuck to the sandpaper, but it actually did fairly well. The Makitoya brand started out at 1,024 grams and it now weighs 1,010, a loss of 14 grams. The Dura Gold test piece started out at 1,027 grams. The Dura Gold seems faster at removing the marker stain at first, but the sanding progress seems to have slowed down a little bit after a minute into the test. Compared to the Makitoya, the Dura Gold seems to have collected more paint. The Dura Gold started out at 1,027 grams and is down to 1,013, a loss of 14, the same as the Makitoya brand. The Diablo test piece weighs 1,007 grams. And the marker stain is pretty much gone at 35 seconds into the test. Diablo did very well and there isn't any visible signs of clogging. The Diablo started off at 1,007 grams and it now weighs 989, a loss of 18 grams, which is 4 grams better than the Makitoya as well as the Dura Gold. The Tiger Shark test piece started out at 999 grams. And the Tiger Shark did fairly well with only a small amount of paint sticking to the sandpaper. And the Tiger Shark test piece now weighs 985 grams, a loss of 14 grams, the same as the Makitoya as well as the Dura Gold. The Mirka started out at 1,001 grams. And the Mirka brand did very well with a very small amount of paint buildup on the sandpaper. 986 grams, a loss of 15. So Mirka moves into second place behind Diablo. The Norton test piece started out at 956 grams. No issues with paint sticking to the sandpaper. 940 grams for Norton, a loss of 16 grams, and it moves into second position behind Diablo. The Bosch test piece weighs 1,010 grams. While there's quite a bit of paint dust stuck to the Bosch, it didn't have any issues with clogging. 993 grams, a loss of 17 grams, and it moves into second place behind Diablo. DeWalt started out at 1,010 grams. Unfortunately, DeWalt struggled quite a bit with paint clogging up the sandpaper, and it really slowed its progress. At 998, DeWalt only removed 12 grams, and it moves into last place. The Makita test piece weighs 1,024 grams. The Makita didn't have any issues with paint clogs. 1,008 grams, so the Makita removed 16 grams. The 3M test piece started out at 1,028 grams. While there is quite a bit of paint dust, the 3M didn't have any visible paint buildup. 1,008 grams is a loss of 20, so 3M takes the lead from Diablo. The Diablo Sand Net test piece weighs 1,007 grams. While there are some small areas where paint is collected in the net, it doesn't seem to be preventing the sandpaper from making contact with the test piece. 986 grams is a loss of 21 grams. So if you're looking for a sandpaper that performs well on very soft material without clogging, the Diablo Sand Net removed 21 grams and 3M Cubitron 20. The very affordable Diablo sandpaper performed nearly as well at 18 grams, but Bosch did very well at 17. Most of the brands claim to work well on plastic. So let's use a new piece of sandpaper and we'll see if they can avoid becoming clogged sanding plexiglass. After only 5 minutes, most of the brands really struggled with clogging. The Diablo sandpaper did very well sanding the plexiglass and only experienced clogging in a couple of small areas. It did the best of all the brands, removing 10 grams. The Mirka, Norton, Makita, 3M, and the Diablo Sand Net did fairly well at 8 grams, but all experienced a moderate amount of clogging. Once again, the DeWalt really struggled. It experienced quite a bit of clogging and only removed 4 grams. The clogging is sort of hard to see, but the microscope really helps. We'll use a new piece of sandpaper for the next test. Let's see how the sandpaper brands hold up after sanding metal. When sandpaper grains experience friction and heat, high-quality sandpaper fragments and forms new sharp edges, which is called friability. So let's really put these brands to the test, first sanding a piece of metal for 2 minutes. Now that all the brands have sanded metal for 2 minutes, let's go back and sand the original piece of wood that was used in the first test, and we'll see how the brands perform. In the very first test, the Makitoya was able to remove 10 grams of wood. After 2 minutes of sanding on metal, it took the Makitoya 5 minutes to only remove 1 gram. So the Makitoya brand just doesn't last long on hard materials such as metal. The Dura Gold test piece started out at 728 grams and it now weighs 723, a loss of 5 grams. So the sandpaper was pretty much used up after only 2 minutes of sanding on the metal. During the first test on oak, the Diablo removed 11 grams. The Diablo started out at 716 grams and it now weighs 710, a loss of 6, and moves into the lead. Tiger Shark did very well in the first test, removing a total of 10 grams. After 2 minutes of metal exposure, it's pretty much used up, only removing 5 grams. Mirka also removed 10 grams in the first test and tied Diablo for the lead, removing 6. Just like the Tiger Shark and Mirka, the Norton removed 10 grams in the first test, but only 5 grams this time. The Bosch removed 10 grams of material in the first test, but 2 minutes of sanding on the metal took its toll on the Bosch. Unfortunately, it only removed 2 grams. The DeWalt really struggled in all the tests, and it really struggled in this one too, only removing 3 grams. The Makita removed 7 grams of wood in the first test, but it really struggled in this test, only removing 4 grams. The 3M Cubitron removed 12 grams in the first test and seemed nearly unfazed by the exposure to metal in this test, removing 11 grams. Very impressive. The Diablo Sand Net also removed 12 grams in the first test, but exposure to metal caused quite a bit of wear. The Sand Net removed 8 grams, moving into second place behind 3M. So if you're looking for sandpaper that'll hold up to contact with very hard surfaces, the 3M Cubitron did by far the best, removing 11 grams. Diablo Sand Net finished in second at 8 grams, and Diablo and Mirka tied for third at 6. Taking a look at the overall finish in all 4 categories of testing, the 3M Cubitron came out on top with an average finish of 1.5. Diablo Sand Net also did very well at 1.75. However, from a value perspective, the very affordable Diablo sandpaper performed much better than a lot of more expensive brands with an average finish of 2.5. Unfortunately, some of the most expensive brands, including DeWalt and Makita, finished near the bottom. I've definitely been buying the wrong sandpaper and wasting both time as well as money. Fortunately, there are 3 brands out there that I really like, including the Diablo sandpaper, which seems like the best value. I also like the Diablo Sand Net, but it is the most expensive. In my opinion, if it's all about the best performing sandpaper, the 3M Cubitron is the best. All the videos in this channel, including this one, are viewer suggested. So if you have a video idea, I hope you'll take time to leave a comment. Thanks so much for watching. Please take care and I look forward to next time.